All this talk about 2012 is premature. It's speculative. I'll tell you flat out, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I'm not trying to be cute or coy. I just genuinely don't know what I'm going to be doing a few years from now, and we'll see. But that focus of that PAC is on helping in 2009 and 2010 in other races, not my own.
Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty has no idea why people are asking him about 2012. He's just trying to help other Republicans win. This presidential speculation is completely out of the blue. I doubt it. It has nothing to do with the fact that Pawlenty, who lost a bid to be John McCain's vice presidential candidate last year, has been assembling a team of Republican presidential campaign veterans. McCain's former spokesman, George W. Bush, former political director, Sarah Palin's personal campaign shopper. Pawlenty's going to need some major help after all. 55% of the people in his own state of Minnesota say they don't want him to run, and nearly half of Minnesota voters say there's absolutely no chance they'd even think about voting for him. Joining me now is R.T. Rybak. He is the mayor of Minneapolis. R.T., good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be here again, Ed.
What is Tim Pawlenty doing? Is he just playing with the headlights, playing with the spotlights, or do you think that he is seriously thinking about making a run for the nomination?
I think he is a deer in the headlights, and I can guarantee you Tim Pawlenty will be in the private sector at the end of 2012 because he's not going to beat Barack Obama. I mean, back here in Minnesota, we've got an expression about people who are all yak, no ack. That's Tim Pawlenty. Yakking from the sidelines, no action, hasn't done a thing in Minnesota until he got his frequent flyer card to go flying around the country. I mean, I guess the good news about him building that team, the one good piece of good news, he's got all those Bush people around him, but I like the fact that he's got Sarah Palin's shopper. She went on a shopping spree in downtown Minneapolis, and that may be the stimulus we need here. So I guess that's the one piece of good news that Tim Pawlenty could finally help this state.
All right, Pawlenty is a lot like Bush. He is a conservative, but fiscally, he's even tighter than Bush. Now, he said this about the cash for clunkers. Here it is.
The effect of this is that we pulled the demand forward and are just dissipating what was future demand for car sales, and you see that in the numbers today. And then along the way, we also hurt the used car lots, the salvage industry, the charitable industry that converted old cars, and much more. I would not support increasing those programs. You know, there's a joke out now that says the main value of the Cash for Clunkers program may be that we'll get a lot of cars with Obama stickers off the road.
To get a lot of cars with Obama stickers off the road. Mayor, I don't know what you think, but I think that's borderline racist. It's class warfare because of the economic disparity in this country. Is this who this guy is? I mean, he's just really now being cast on the national scene. He's going to get a lot of attention now. Is he known for saying stuff like this?
You're going to have a lot of fun with this guy, Ed Schultz, I can tell you that much. Look, you know, I guess you can make a joke out of somebody who's struggling out there and is trying to get a car. You can make a joke out of somebody on an auto assembly line who's desperately trying to get to work. I guess you could make a joke out of it. I've never tried it. It didn't seem to work for Hoover very well. But the fact of the matter is that what I hope is that all the investigative reporters around the country come on here to Minnesota. We'd love to have you here and spend a few years and do your very best to try to find a single thing that this guy has gotten done as governor. And I got to tell you, that guy's running around the country bashing Obama. I sit here in the largest city in the state in Minnesota, and we have now gotten close to $100 million as part of the federal stimulus program that is putting people to work. That's what we need. Thank you, President Obama. Ignore my governor. Thank you, President Obama, for helping to put America back to work.
And after a bridge collapsed in this state that killed 13 people, he was slow to want to repair the bridges, and he opposed a half-cent sales tax on gasoline that had not been raised for some 20 years. Do I have that correct?
Here's the story. Tim Pawlenty and I were both there as the bridge collapsed. It was in front of me. I had to do that work. The governor and I worked together. And when the cameras were here, he said all the right things, that we were going to finally invest in infrastructure. When all the national reporters disappeared, he suddenly reversed face and said that he wouldn't make it. In fact, we finally had to get an override of the legislature to do it. So be careful what he says in the spotlight, because when the Klieg light goes away, suddenly he becomes a very different person. I think those of you who are going to follow him nationally are going to have a lot of fun over these next few years, but I can guarantee you, you're not going to be covering him from the White House.
Mayor of Minneapolis, R.T. Rybak, with us tonight on The Ed Show. Thanks, R.T. Appreciate your time tonight.